Barney, the federal government right now is doing more on cannabis than they have ever done. And can you tell me, explain a little bit about the process of lobbying and how difficult it is to have a bill and then you put it into committee and then it goes here and then they vote and then it goes here and it takes sometimes forever?
Well, it does if they're not trying to do it. The key to marijuana, and I am confident that Congress is, at the very least in this current Congress, by next year, going to make it legal make it clearly legal for banks to take marijuana accounts, which is a big step forward. And what's happening is that the politicians are responding to the public. There's a kind of a myth out there that only big money counts and the voters don't get heard. No, if you're in the business of winning votes, you are going to hear, you are going to pay attention if you hear from them. And what we have is a large-scale movement in favor of legalizing marijuana. The analogy to me is that of same-sex marriage. In both cases, you have something that some people like to do and other people think is nasty and shouldn't do it. But they have to come up with some reasons besides the fact that they don't like it. So they manufacture this notion that there will be adverse social consequences. And then we get a breakthrough. Some states do it. And it becomes very clear that there are no adverse consequences, and then it spreads. That happened to same-sex marriage. It's happening with marijuana. So what you have is Congress reacting to the public. There are a couple of members from states that have made it legal. Colorado, Ed Perlmutter, Oregon, Earl Blumenauer, and they're very good, skillful, principled politicians, and they're going to get it through.
It's an amazing thing to see. We call it the green wave. Elizabeth, by the way, if you want to ask Barney Frank anything, just hit me, okay? And then you can just ask. I'll shut up.
Not too hard, right?
Not too hard.
Okay, good.
Because I'm bruised. I'm easily bruised.
I mean, don't forget I retired from the Marine Corps, so
trust me.
I don't want to hurt you.
No, I appreciate that. And I'm extremely gentle. I do appreciate that. Barney, I want to go back to politics. I want to go back to the wave of movement that we're seeing here. It's the States Act right now that I believe is the one that has the most chance of perhaps getting to the floor. Why can't they just this is democracy. The people want this. 62%, according to Pew Research, wants legalized cannabis. Why does it take the politicians so long to make a decision?
Well, one, you have cultural lag. People don't like to admit they were wrong. 20 years ago, a lot of politicians said this is a terrible thing. They made the misleading and accurate argument that it was leading to other drugs. So people don't change their minds that quickly. There was a period, by the way, when the minority communities were very upset about it, African Americans, because they said, look, our kids have enough temptations. We don't need this. The unfair enforcement has made them say, no, that's no good. But as far as the legislation is concerned, you're definitely going to see a bill that allows banks to do it. You may go one step further and allow it in the state. Now, allowing it in the state where it's legal does meet the Democratic argument, because it means any state where a majority wants to do it, they'll be able to do it. It would be cleaner to make it legal totally. But I think once you have done it state by state, it'll come.
Right. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
I was thinking, sir, as you were talking, the push, with the constituents, and like you're saying, 62%, right? But here we go, and you're talking about minorities and people being affected and then not changing their minds. Like, they don't want to publicly say, we were wrong, or we went about this the wrong way. We hurt people in the process. People have died in the process. People have lost their lives from they've been in prison for decades, all over things like that. Now, being, close to my heart, of course, is fellow veterans. When you have, and I know there's some legislation up there this year to allow, the VA to do certain things and extend its parameters. Do you feel that, I guess, first of all, how do you feel about that?
Letting the veterans access.
Yeah, I'm for it. It would be better to just get right to letting everybody do it, not just veterans. But if we can't do that, certainly allowing the VA to administer a valid medicine should happen easily. Beyond that, as I said, you do have people for years talked about the drug menace. They're wrong about this, but it's hard for them to undo it. You have some people, Patrick Kennedy,
Yep.
who, because he had a substance abuse problem, he's trying to stop other people. But I was very pleased to see that his cousin, Joseph Kennedy, just broke with him and is now an advocate. So I think
That's a big step.
It is.
He was not an advocate.
no, and it is one, the logic of the argument that there is no harm to smoking it in any reasonable amount, and the popular support, the practice of bad law enforcement, they've come together. So I think it's unstoppable.
Unstoppable. I love that. That makes me
Yeah.
feel so good.